All right. Recording.
Podcast episode 66. March 21st at 5:20 p.m. So we'll just jump right into these. These are the ones we printed yesterday. We still hadn't even touched them, and I only got today's we printed. And then another podcast went up.
Where? Oh.
So,
it's a nice picture of me.
Not to discredit DeWalt, but Makita revolutionized the quick charge, long runtime, reliable cordless tool market with their charging battery tech. Milwaukee and DeWalt will outpower Makita by a small margin, but neither will last as long. One of my guys left 2 drills, charger, and 5 batteries in a 5-gallon Homer bucket for 2 weeks while I was out of town on business. I discovered them when I got back, and the bucket was full of water. I am building a deck with them today. Makita is the best, and second to Bosch, and then DeWalt and Milwaukee. Thanks, Jacob Chandler, Home Solutions, LLC.
I don't know.
I would agree, fucking DeWalt. I would agree that Makita, I mean, that was the first thing out there. That's
yeah, Makita, right? Definitely Makita was the first guy, but where the fuck do you go to buy Makita?
That's a good question.
I
haven't known, like, you just see that yellow, like,
yeah,
when you walk in any of those places, you see the fucking row of yellow. But Makita...
I mean, I will actually look it up tonight, but here's my thing is, I don't believe that Makita...
Maybe it's like more of a pro shop now.
Maybe, but I wouldn't believe that they would have the diversity in tools either. It's like, yeah, I know I've seen a Makita drill.
I honestly don't know.
What else?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But yeah, my first electric thing was Makita.
Yeah, because that's all there fucking was. John, what type of... Well, I mean, I made some battery power stuff with a D-cell and a paper clip and a light bulb. Back in the old day, you had to make flash. You know, I'm going around. Anytime I see a fucking super old flashlight, I buy it. There's some crazy ass looking old flashlights out there, man. Like crazy, like just fucking crazy. I'm gonna put batteries in them and bulbs and shit and see if I can
get them work. Get
that's what'll burn the building.
Get somebody to make you some LED bulbs for them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. John, what type of thread do you use or recommend? I try to patch my clothes, repair holes. Constantly have to repeat it because the thread wears out or breaks in less than a week. Tyler, that's really weird. You must be not a very good sewer. Like, did you have thread break when you hand sewed shit?
I mean, not really. And I used to, when I used to make the ghillie suit, you know, when we make
bothering me, this fucking key.
When we make the ghillie suits, that was all on a home sewing machine with fucking, you know, home thread.
He's sewing it though, I would assume. Your answer is nylon 69E.
Yeah,
that's the answer. And you can buy that at some like craft stores and stuff, little spools of it. Really, but do you want it to look good or do you want it to work? If you want it to look good, go find just some nylon thread, sew with that. You want it to work and you don't care what it looks like, fucking you'd be amazed how fucking strong and dental floss, man. Waxed dental floss.
Yeah, if you're doing it by hand.
Yeah. What were you
I was just going to say, like that, the thread that we use.
69E nylon.
You can't put that on a home machine, can you? Would it
Fuck no.
Be too, it's too, yeah.
You can't even put a needle in there big enough.
Right.
I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess you can. I hear guys doing it. But, like, you're going to fuck that up. I mean, that stuff we use in those embroidery machines is so thin. It gets tracked fucking everywhere, man. John Skully, I just re-listened to an old podcast about shark skin projects, and Skully totally needs a shoulder holster set up for 2 1911s made of great white leather.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would rock the You know what? Hey, if you're out there and you're making leather holsters and you make me a double rig, great white shark holsters, I will wear those motherfuckers every day here at work.
I've never heard of great white shark skin.
I don't know.
Are they endangered or something?
That's a tricky question. I think they are. I don't think you... Can you? I think they are. I think we do have them on the endangered list.
It might just be that dudes aren't throwing lines in and catching fucking great whites.
Because you can go... I mean, you can go to San Diego and get a sport fishing boat that goes out and catches sharks.
Sure, but I don't think it's great white. Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere off San Diego is like a Mecca breeding ground.
Oh yeah, yeah.
San Francisco and shit. I had a friend when we were in elementary school that brought some of his dad's Vietnam pics with him holding heads of their enemies for show and tell. That is fucking awesome.
That would be so awesome. Little kid bringing that stuff in. Here we go. This is what my dad did when he was in the war. And
nobody, like, then, wasn't too big of a deal, probably. Now, they'd lose their fucking mind.
There'd be a fucking total meltdown. There'd be a total meltdown.
Are you all familiar with the South African 83 pattern battle jacket? Yeah, we call them vests. Although it's an older design, could you think of any positives of the system? Man, it was great for what it was then. Why would you want that now, though? I mean, we make LBVs, we call them CQB vest, patrol vest, land warfare vest, and you can add all the shit. It was modular, so you could add it or subtract it. We didn't make you put your fucking canteens and all your shit on there. For what it was cool. And on the surplus market, you could buy them for $75. Fuck, I think I owned probably 20 of those things, the brown and black ones.
Yeah.
The webbing was kind of shit. It was like a polyester, but, I mean, I don't know why you would want to do that now.
Yeah, the reason why they were doing it then is because it was quick and easy to make.
Some of the British kit was fucking cool too, but I mean it was fucking super heavy. And then there again it was, there was just a lot of shit there.
Yeah.
You tired?
Yeah, a little bit.
I am too. I don't fucking know why, man. Maybe
it's carbon monoxide that we keep pumping into the room.
It's 4:30 catching up with me. You mentioned less sleep. Oh, there we go. You mentioned less sleep time lately. Does that not affect your energy at the gym? Seems if I don't get a decent 6 to 7 hours, I can really feel how far I can really feel how far I can push myself. Could be in my head, but either way. So I probably need to take a nap sometime, but usually about the time I think I need to take a nap, I kind of catch my second wind and I'm good. Sometimes I'll get in bed even like sometimes at 9 o'clock and I still don't go to sleep until fucking 11, 12 o'clock. I got up at 4:30 this morning, went to the gym. We got to the gym early. There was we didn't go that early, but we went to the gym early. There was nobody in there. There was 2 people in the gym. I had the best workout today I've probably had in 6 weeks, man. Since I hurt myself, I did full workout, full shoulders and chest, whole workout today. Lightweight, but did all of it, every bit of it, and feel good. My shoulder hurts, but it always hurts. I think your body will just adjust to it. I think I remember my grandparents getting up early all the time. I think as you get older, it's just, I don't know if you need less sleep or what. Sometimes like every couple weeks, I'll sleep in on the weekend, but I'm good. I mean, I'm a little slow right now, but in an hour, I'll be good for another 5 hours. Wahaha, where's my ears? I don't know what that's about. They make already a sweatshirt with a cat holding pouch for your hairless gremlin cat.
Yes, we do have a cat holding pouch sweatshirt. Just put your hairless cat in there. Walk around.
What happened to the possums that were in the garage? One died. He suicided. We don't know what happened to him. He just died.
And we still have the female, right?
Yeah, female's out there.
Still female.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a mate for your possum, we have a female.
If you have a male possum that you need to stud,
you want some babies, you want to stud them out.
You should hear 2 possums fucking. It's a crazy sound. It's like 2 little fucking Tasmanian devils. Food lines. John, you were talking about seeing new cars at the food pantry. I noticed the same thing in my area, so I looked into it. The food pantries don't require much info from you. Some of them, you meet with a counselor for a few minutes the first time you go. You need an ID, and all they want to know is how many children you have because you get more food for the children. Other food banks, you just walk in and get a large box of food. No questions asked. It was at least $100 worth of food per week. Where I live, there's a problem with pieces of shit that get the free food. They throw the stuff they don't want onto the sidewalks, bus stops, people's front yards. Thinking of how people are raised or not raised just amazes me.
And that doesn't, you know, seeing those cars too there does not mean that the people that are in there are still not poor. Because we all know somebody who's got a fucking car that they can't afford with fucking spinning rims on it that they're going to get repoed here in a couple of days, parked in their mom's driveway. So
I'm going with most of them are not poor.
I can't.
We should go up there. It's on.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine somebody. If you have food in your house, I know there's some weird people out there, some weird cat people and stuff like that.
I don't think
they would go do that. But I can't imagine if there's 20 cars out there, and they're all over $30,000, that those people are not going to. They're still not driving to trailers with fucking broken windows.
I think it's just if you give some free shit away, people will show up for it. So we had a thing. It was called Food Co-op. I remember when I was 5th, 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, and my mom would go to it, and you'd get a box of food. It had like a bag of like a Ziploc bag of oatmeal, a bunch of there was like different fresh vegetables. I don't think there was any meat. I want to say you got like some milk and some cheese maybe, but you had to work there to get your box of food.
Yeah, you had to box some box.
Yeah, you had to box up some food and hand shit out and package shit. Like they weren't giving you nothing. Like I mean, you were getting free stuff, but you were, had to volunteer for it.
Well, that's the states that are requiring work for money. So for any of your benefits,
welfare is fucking.
They're fucking benefit. They've like Maine lost 50%.
Yeah, imagine that. Where'd they go?
Imagine that.
You think they just up and died? I don't think so. Because half your welfare recipients have fucking another source of income. It's just free money on top of it. Skully mentioned the guy who ran into the crowd at Unite the Right rally. What are your thoughts on the whole thing? Do you think James Fields, the driver, intended to drive through the crowd and run over as many people as possible? Do you think he was scared and panicked? Thoughts on media not telling the whole story. Hold on before you go. I don't know what this is about, but as far as all those rallies and shit where people would be driving downtown and the mobs would come out in the road and fucking block traffic and then start hitting the cars and shit. You fucking touch my car, you're going to be under my fucking car. Like, I will try to egress backwards, but if you get between me and my exit point, like, I'm going to go through that fucking crowd. I don't know why more people didn't just run through the crowds, especially when they mob around both sides, start rocking the car. That's only going to escalate. Like number one, avoid the fucking situation if you know it's there. If you see it ahead, stop, go backwards, turn, whatever you have to do. But if you find yourself, locked between in a road between buildings on both sides or something like that, and you got people front and back, fucking, I'm going through them. I'm not waiting for that to escalate. I just remember, like, I want to say it was a Challenger or a Charger or something. And there was a mob of people, and I remember they ran over a fat bitch, and they were fucking just losing their mind over this bitch. I think she actually died over it, but bitch, get out of the fucking road. I mean, there was 30, 40, 50 people. They're fucking trying to open the doors and shit. We're not waiting for that to happen. We are going fucking through you. And I mean, just like a bunch of them got run over on the fucking freeway in San Diego. Fucking retards, what do you think's gonna fucking happen? And the police in Nashville out there handing them goddamn bottles of water. The fucking state troopers came out and fucking made them stop. They're like, you are not encouraging this. You are not assisting them. Go ahead. I don't know what this was about.
I mean, I don't know I know the details of what is being put out there. The reality is the person that's most responsible for that situation was the mayor. He actually had the police funneling these two groups towards each other and putting that whole scenario into a situation that.
Oh, I know what we're talking about.
You should have had. I mean,
is this Antifa or Black Lives Matter?
No, this is
with the skin.
This is the white dudes with the torches. You really were. You were asking for that. You had a system set up where you were asking for somebody to fucking do something crazy. I mean, I don't know what he's saying. So I can't really tell you what the situation was.
If you find yourself involved in that, you should backtrack a couple hours and think, maybe you shouldn't fucking have gone. Like, if you're going to where there's going to be some conflict, don't be surprised when there's some fucking conflict. Like, don't take your fucking kids down there.
I feel like, and once again, I don't know this. I don't know the exact details, but I feel like if his intention was to run people over, then when he ran that young lady over, he wouldn't have stopped. He would have kept going, right? I mean, if you take a look at the guy who fucking the guy who ran all those people over in Paris. You take a look at the guy who ran all those people over in Canada.
Many as we can get.
It's usually as many as we can get. Not I'm going to run one person over and stop my car so all these people can fucking beat me up. So there you may very well be right that he turned down the wrong street and they fucking panicked. I don't know. That whole situation was terrible in the first place. They shouldn't have allowed those two groups to be anywhere near each other. But whatever, can't fix dumb.
This was a while ago, right? Probably
yeah, it was a while ago.
Even.
Yeah. Charlottesville.
They used to run A-10s out of Willow Grove Air Force Base here in Pennsylvania, and they must have practiced strafing approach runs every now and then because you would see their badass, aggressive faces screaming down one after another. Was always a cool thing to watch.
It's an even cooler thing to watch when they're actually shooting shit.
Good morning, John and Skully. I've been inspired by your podcast to lose weight, further my career, and be a good example to other men. I've lost weight, ordered a new belt, so I'll have one while I send my other one in time to get resized. Also ordered a combat cock and a visor cover because reasons. Ordered number, he gave the order number. Thanks for entertaining information. Please keep it up, dude. Thanks for your order, man.
Keep up with the weight loss, man. You're going to feel so much better when you get any extra weight off that you can.
Not only that, the cumulative fucking injury, the cumulative damage you're doing, like as you age, like every day, like when I get up towards the end of the day, when I got to bend over and pick something up, I feel it in my legs, in just all my joints. Like when you take that weight off, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
When you lower sugar and carbs and stuff, carbs translate to sugar. When you lower sugar, the inflammation goes down. Like everything gets better, man. Fucking green, fibrous vegetables, meat.
Yeah, keep it up, man. That's good for you. You're losing weight.
Addiction sucks, even if it's not hard drugs. I struggle with cigarettes and chew. I'll quit for 3 to 7 months, a year, 2 years. Then some stressful thing will happen, like my father dying or hail destroying my roof and cars, etc. And I'll let myself go back to one or the other for a few months.
Oh, that was it?
That's it.
That's it? Oh, well,
I don't know. I don't have anything like that.
You just gotta...
I can't say I sympathize.
Well, I mean, everybody's got an
or
addiction.
Or relate. I can't say I relate.
Everybody's got an addiction.
What's
you just
mine?
gotta figure.
I like margaritas every night, and when it dawned on me a couple weeks ago that I'm foggier the next morning.
Do you think you could not take stimulants?
No, I'm probably.
That's an addiction.
But I stopped drinking. Like I haven't had a drink in. I don't know, well, the weekend.
You saying that is like, whatever, because you never drank. Like coming here to Tennessee and hearing somebody going, no, John drinks all the time. I'm like, what? No, he does. You're so full of shit. John does not drink. He doesn't. He doesn't do any of that shit. So you're lying. So I had to have been here for a while before I even saw you.
But you saw when we moved because I saved all the bottles. I'm like, we're gonna do something with all these empty bottles. We filled the dumpster. The dumpster was filled with Patron
margarita
bottles.
Yeah, and margarita mix.
Because Gina's like, oh, I want those. I'm gonna repurpose them. So I saved them. I had fucking 2 truckloads of fucking margarita bottles. Sorry, dude. Fucking hope you're off it now and just find something else to focus on.
Everybody's got an addiction. You just got to decide.
Get addicted to working out. Get addicted to, something positive. Hopefully, get addicted to money. That's a good addiction, because when you fucking do other shit, that money diverts. It's always and along those lines. Not this guy. But like talking about the people up there getting the free food or whatever, the food line, right? It's always people talking about how poor they are, or they can't do this, or they can't do that. But they've always got cigarettes.
Yeah, they've
always have cigarettes.
Always got
always have a Monster. Always have cigarettes, vape, whatever it's become. They always have that. I mean,
those things aren't cheap.
They've got cable. They've got fucking internet. They got a phone to fucking complain and ask for money on. You ain't hit rock bottom if you got any of them fucking things.
How is that even possible anymore when a goddamn phone is
100%, man.
So expensive.
100%. Think about it. Every one of them.
So expensive.
Every dude talking about how somebody has something more than them, or talking shit to them, or how somebody should, whatever. They all got a phone.
Fucking so
you got time, and not only that, they have time to sit on the phone.
Yeah, and play with it.
And talk shit while they should be working, doing something. Get out on the fucking street corner and beg for some fucking money at the four-way intersection. Go sell bags of oranges, pecans or whatever it is they sell.
Oranges. Get some avocados.
That's not here. You'll never see a motherfucker selling anything healthy.
How many would you buy though if you rolled up on a street up here and there's
shit? If there was wild Mexicans, running around selling little tamales and shit, oh shit. Hey Skully, what engine is in your Falcon? If it's a 351 Cleveland, you could probably just tell the parts store retards it's a Cougar from the same year.
No, that doesn't work. I hate to tell you this. That's kind of the problem with the Ford Falcon from Australia. So Australia, it's a conglomerate. It's a conglomeration. So at that time period, while they had Fords, they had Mercedes-Benzes, they had all the same cars that we had kind of basically over here. It was one factory pulling it. It was one factory making all those cars.
Really?
Yeah.
In Australia?
In Australia. So when we decided to make when we stopped making the Falcons in the United States and we started making the Mustangs, the Australians were like, fuck it, we're going to make our own car. And that's what the Ford Falcon was. The Ford Falcon was actually a totally Australian-produced car.
Before it came here?
It never came here.
The Ford Falcon?
The Ford Falcon you're thinking of stopped getting manufactured in the United States in 1968. So not even the same car. Like if I park my Falcon next to an American Ford Falcon, you'd be like, who's driving Grandma's car? Because that's what an American Ford Falcon looks like.
Ford Falcon is the same as a Roadrunner, right?
No.
And they were made by Chevy, and then before they called it a muscle. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, I don't know. No,
I don't. Dude's like, why don't you get a muscle car?
Anyways, it was all a conglomerate over in Australia. So when they designed this car, they basically walked through the factory and pulled parts that they had available to create this car. So, for example, the brakes, all the brake system on the Ford Falcon is from a 1963 Oldsmobile. That point that went out, so you would be like, hey, just say 351 Cleveland, and they'll know. Nope, the point was actually from a 1973 Mercedes-Benz. So they basically, well, if I strip that engine completely down, yeah, maybe, but the reality is the Ford Falcon is a conglomerate of every car manufacturer that they had in Australia at that time. So the only thing that is really like...
Maybe you should strip it down, just put a Vortec motor in.
No, fuck no, man. The Ford Falcon, that Cleveland is like, people would pay me money more. The car's worth more because it has that Cleveland motor in there, because they're very hard to get. Everybody used them here in the United States. People would use them for race trucks, and so they're just gone. So people like really want those Cleveland motors. Anyways, so that's it. It's just it doesn't matter what I tell the parts guy, because, like I said, the point actually came out of a fucking Mercedes-Benz.
I was going to have all my Chevy 350s and have them converted. I was going to have them add one in a Cleveland and make them 351 Clevelands.
Make them three. You're just going to paint on the side?
Just add one.
Add a one?
Just add one cylinder. Add one.
Add one.
Jeremy Peck says, I was joking with a friend about panhandling here in Vegas. He said it was fucked up. But in a reality, would you rather donate to a person with a drug habit and history of bad decisions, or would you rather donate to someone whose intention is to start a business and pay extra taxes as a functional member of society. Shit, I'd even put that on a sign.
It's illegal to panhandle in Las Vegas, by the way.
I guess because I'm not like... I mean, we do go run around out in Vegas, outside of Vegas and shit, but now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen a fucking panhandler.
It's so in the area where there's going to be any tourists, they will fucking roll them guys up. But if you go to North Las Vegas,
what's considered North Las Vegas?
So you know where the light show is above the thing?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I do remember seeing homeless people out there.
Yeah, if you go on the back side of that, there's actually a homeless shelter there.
The Glitter Gulch and all that.
Yeah, if you go on the back side of that, there's a homeless shelter there, and if you go there at certain times of the day, they'll be out there fucking zombieing around.
Horseshoe and the Golden Nugget. We used to get. Well, fuck, you were there. We'd get rooms comped right there.
But I've actually seen, like, Billy pull over and be like, "Hey, motherfucker. I'll have a Metro guy come over and pick you up right now," and then they scurry off into the desert.
John looks like Boss Elf on the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't know what he's talking about.
It was a claymation. I think it was a claymation. That old Rudolph Red-Nosed.
1983. I mean, I know that. I remember the old terrible claymation with the claymation fucking Yeti. 1983. I was at JRC in Camp Pendleton. Liberty was going to, I think, Hill Street, 24-hour Kung Fu movies, and the first time I ever had real Mexican food. That was the only thing to look forward to after that whenever I got sent to California. So, 83.
The good old days when they had prostitutes on Hill Street.
So the pier was there, but the main movie theater wasn't there.
Yeah, none of that was there.
If you went to the pier, came inland 2 blocks, and came south 2 blocks, that's where our shop was. That's where we were on Coast Highway.
And it's totally, I mean, there are probably a couple things, there's probably 2 or 3 things that are still there that you would remember, but
shit, there was only shit there.
Everything's gone. They ran out all the prostitutes, tried to run out all the cleaners, they didn't get them all. They even tried to run out all the surplus stores, but they didn't get them all.
And then they built a bunch of tiny ass, tall, skinny houses,
townhouses,
coffee shops,
so
all that shit. Loving it, guys. Skully, are you a MASH fan or a Hogan's Hero fan?
Both. I think they both have their place.
I remember Dad watching MASH.
Oh man, my mom. It was. That was when MASH was on, whatever night of the week. I think it was. I want to say Wednesday at 8 o'clock, or maybe Wednesday at 9 o'clock, because
now they have a channel that's
adult
24 hours.
Yeah, my mom watched that for every year that was on. It was actually on. MASH was actually, I want to say,
longer than the war.
4 years longer than the war, than the actual war. Yeah.
Yeah, Commie Bernie spent his honeymoon in Soviet Moscow. President Trump would have won the popular vote if it wasn't for California.
I don't care about the popular vote. We are a republic, and that's not how we do things here. That's the electoral colleges were set up. The electoral colleges were specifically set up so one state could not bully another state, and that's what they want to do. They want to have the electoral colleges gotten away with, so New York and California can elect the president. If New York and California vote, no other state has a say in who gets to be president. That's why the electoral colleges are so important.
Do you guys make an ankle med kit?
A who med kit?
Ankle.
Do we? We don't.
No, we don't. We're going to.
I was just trying to think. We have a neck med kit.
I'm gonna make ankle.
We have a minimalist.
I'm gonna invent ankle weights.
You're gonna invent ankle weights.
Yeah, imagine if you could just put Velcro something around your legs that had weight in them. It'd just make you stronger, like you wouldn't even know you're doing it.
But they already have those.
No, we don't have. I just invented it right now.
Oh,
we're gonna build them.
What are you gonna put in them for weight?
Weight.
Like what? You're gonna get like 5-pound weights and.
No, we're gonna let them put whatever they want.
Oh, what they get?
We don't want to have to buy the weight to put in it. It costs more in shipping. I'm a former addict. Oh yeah, okay, Ho Jogan, fuck off. I've seen you talk too much shit. I'll be banning you as soon as we get out of here. Hey Skully, question about barrel change on machine guns. Did you or any other Marines you know shoot so much in a firefight they had to change a barrel on a saw 240 or 50 cal. I can't imagine having to throw on some oven mitts and have to screw on a 50 barrel while getting shot at. Count the clicks and hope the headspace was okay.
Okay, 50. You're in the fight. If you have a 50 cal M2 50 cal, nobody's changing.
You couldn't change the barrel on that fucking thing.
Well, yeah, you could. Nobody's changing a barrel in the fight. Okay, whether that's 240 Gulf, even a 240 Gulf or a fucking a saw. Nobody's changing a barrel in the fight. I don't even think. I think initially, because you know, Marine Corps doctrine, or it's the way things are. I think initially, like maybe the first week, the saw gunners carried their spare barrel, but after that, it was left in the fucking tent. That type of. The reality is that type of fire is not really happening the way you think it is. So, like I had a 240 Gulf crew. They ran through. I want to say they ran through 1,600 rounds in 3 minutes, and they didn't need to change the barrel. Saw gunners, you know, I don't think I ever had a saw gunner fire more than. I don't know what they did out at the fucking trash heap. More than 800 rounds, but it's the thing is that heat buildup is sustained fire. So if I'm like boom, 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 you know, if I'm doing it right, then the barrel is not going to heat up as fast as you think it is, and you can fucking, you know, here's the thing, the difference. The reason why we do that spare barrel change shit, and I know my fucking math sergeants are gonna fucking be like cringing. The reason why we do that spare barrel change shit is so we don't wear out the barrels on the machine guns, right? The whole purpose is so I shoot a certain amount of rounds. I change the barrel. I shoot another. It's so we don't burn barrels out, so we don't tear barrels up, but. If you're fucking downtown Fallujah rocking and rolling, you're not changing your barrel. You can get a new barrel. That's what government contracts are for. You change that motherfucker when you get back and throw the other one away.
How do you know when it's bad? Because it just starts throwing rounds?
Yeah, it'll just start throwing rounds. But you would be amazed at how fucked up you can get a machine gun and it not affect it. Like, so not in combat, but in the Philippines... I red hotted a barrel. We were doing, they were doing FFP, so your final protective fire.
Could you see rounds coming through the barrel? Yeah.
I was doing, and they basically, when they want to leave, so when you want to leave a training area, they're just like, okay, we're going to shoot everything because you can't turn anything back in. So everybody was piling fucking 5.56 on me because I had the saw, and so I was just shooting it. I was shooting it the way I was supposed to, and then my staff sergeant came over and he's like, you got to get rid of all that ammo. And I'm like, and we were actually changing the barrels. And I go, look, it's fucking red hot. You can see he's like, okay.
Dump it.
No, he's like, dump it. And which is the worst thing you can do.
You put it in water?
The worst thing you can do, he's like, pour water on it. We're shit. Like, we used all the water already. He's like, start peeing on these motherfuckers because we need to shoot all this ammo. So you can really, I mean, you can tear up a fucking machine gun, but as far as changing it in the fucking thick of the fight, this is what I'm gonna say: if you're outside a fucking German machine gun crew, if you're in the fight with an M2 50 cal, you're not worried about changing the barrel. You're just not. Same thing with I mean, can a crew? You technically can change. Here's the thing: you can change the 240 Gulf and the saw without the mitten. You don't need to put the fucking asbestos mitten on there. So you can change it and throw it on the ground and put your other barrel in there and shoot it out.
What do you change it with?
Huh?
How do you change it?
Well, on the saw, it's just a lever here and it cranks, so it's got a handle.
So you're not touching the barrel.
Yeah, you don't touch the barrel.
But what about on the M2?
M2, you have to touch the barrel. That's why I'm saying they're not changing.
When I said when we first started, you couldn't change the barrel out on.
Yeah, they put the fucking mittens on and fucking crank it off.
Gotcha, but they're not carrying the mittens.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, right. Like we weren't even carrying spare barrels.
Got it.
When the 240 Gulf went out, I'd have to.
So what's the barrel to an M2 weigh? Because I mean, we had what? We had so many M2 barrels. We were moving a safe on M2 barrels.
Yeah, that's true. I can't remember what they
We
weigh.
were using them to roll. We were rolling a safe on top to move the safe into place. We had M2 barrels on the top of the shop through the sandbags and triple wire and shit.
Yeah. I wish Dwayne would have made a knife out of one of those. So
I wonder what happened to him.
They take him in the raid?
They didn't want to go on the roof. I mean, they went up there, but they didn't want to fuck with getting caught up in that wire.
Yeah. So, I mean, reality is, I know all you fucking machine gunners are cringing, but you don't know anybody who changed an M2 barrel in the fight. And if you think real hard about your machine gunners, outside of certain situations, it's very rare that somebody's changing a barrel.
We were doing a photo shoot. I want to say Hunter was taking the photos, but the photos went to, I think some of them ended up in Soldier of Fortune. And we had a short barrel. We had 2 short barrel machine guns. So it had to have been, I want to say it was Barry Duke was there. And we were shooting someplace fucking weird, like out in an avocado orchard. It was like a 40-minute drive from the shop, and we just pull off this trail and go back and around. And we were all jocked up in gear. It was me, Born Friend. I want to say Hunter was shooting photos, and I want to say it was Barry Duke, because we had 2 machine guns and suppressors, and we were dumping C-mags through them. Just, I mean, burning them, fucking. And that was the first time I'd ever seen it get so fucking hot. You could see the bullets come through the fucking barrel, and I think they were getting hotter, even hotter, because of the suppressors on there.
Yeah, the suppressor will increase the temperature of the gun.
It was Surefire, but it was before Surefire, so it would probably, I think they were Phil Seeberger cans, Ops Inc. cans.
Mm-hmm.
And
that motherfucker was crazy.
You remember his mobile home and the dog?
He was fucking crazy.
He would use, the dog would go and find girls, and girls would bring the dog the dog would bring girls to the trailer. It was fucking pretty wild.
He was a dude from the old days who used to make suppressors, and
he was the dude from Shooter is who that dude was. Like when they met in the cabin.
Yeah, the old dude.
That's who Phil Seeberger was.
Yeah, man. He brought a 308 rifle out that was fucking suppressed.
Nobody'd even seen that before.
Yeah, this is before anybody was fucking around with suppressors, and he brought this rifle out to the range, and at night they were shooting it at 150 yards, which isn't far with a sniper rifle, but he was shooting at 150 yards, but that fucking rifle was so quiet that the only thing you could hear was it hitting the steel. Ting, ting. Couldn't hear anything else. Not fucking nothing.
Because his cans
were fucking awesome.
And there's dudes doing it now, but originally it was all harmonics. It wasn't about just capturing the sound. It was about changing the sound.
Yeah. But he was
a fucking wizard.
Yeah, he was a fucking madman though, because he'd be like, "Oh, you want a suppressor? Here, man, I got this suppressor right here. You can take this with you." And you'd be like, "Hey, Phil, isn't there some paperwork or something you got to do?" He goes, "Are you in the military?" That's all, man. That's all that matters. If you're in the military, I mean, he was crazy. He would just, and I'd be like, "How are you not in jail, Phil? God damn, you are crazy." He just did crazy shit.
He's got to be dead now.
Yeah, he's got to be dead now.
Like 20 years dead.
Yeah, he was 100 years old when we knew him.
I want to go back and meet that other old dude. He's got to be dead too, though.
The dude at the. I don't think he is. I think he's
still. So we
still,
probably shouldn't talk about him.
I think he's still alive.
I want to tell the story, but if he's around, we can't tell the story.
I think he's still alive because, well, I mean, how long have I been here? 3 years.
Yeah.
So okay.
He was alive then when you left.
When I was, right before I left.
We can tell. Don't
yeah,
say
right
that. Don't say that one.
Right before I left, Mike was like, "Hey, my guy's eyes are getting really bad," and I was like, "Who are you using?" And he goes, "You know who I'm using, right?" And I'm like, "Dude, he can't be alive." And he's like, "Yeah, he's still alive. He still does all my engraving." I'm like, "What kind of engraving?"
We're talking about a dude who like, He knew Hitler.
Yeah, he hung out with Hitler. But I'm like, what kind of engraving is he doing for you? He goes, oh, he's just putting my company logo. And I'm like,
why don't you laser that?
yeah, I'm like, hey, Steve at Lasertronics can do all that, Mike. I don't know why you got some 400-year-old dude with a chisel fucking chiseling away at that shit.
Because you mentioned confirmed kills and inflating numbers, and with me being from up north, what's your thoughts on the Canadian snipers? I read that they are either counterfeit ninjas or genuine badass. I would like to believe they are legit, but when they report about 3,540 meter kills, confirmed kills, my bullshit alarm goes off. What are they shooting with? A 20 Mike?
No, they're using 338 Lapuas.
At 3,500 meters?
Well, your bullshit alarm should always go off when people are talking about long-range shots, because...
It's bullshit?
No. It's not that it's not doable. It's doable, but it's such a fucking rarity in the sense of, I mean, when you think about that, when you think about those ranges, how did you even see that target? Right? I mean, because I know that if you're doing your observation skill, if you're doing your obs right, you're going to fucking eventually find targets. But, you know, the guy that, the Canadian that did the 20, I want to say it's 25, I want to say it was 2,500 yards with the 338 from Pula and shot the guys that were on the motorcycle or whatever. He, in his story, he talks about missing. So that, just by saying that, it makes it a little more plausible in the sense of there's no reason for him to, if you're going to lie, you might as well lie big, you know? And there's no reason for him to lie about that. I don't know. I've never met any of the Canadian snipers. It's just, it becomes this, like, everybody has this competition. The weird thing is everybody has this competition about how far, you know, how far it is. The sniper with the most, it was actually an Army guy, the most confirmed kills in World War II, a sniper in World War II with the most confirmed kills, when they asked him how he was able to rack up that number, I think it was like 251 or something like that, how he was able to rack up that number, he said, I never took a shot that was too far. I always knew, you know, I always knew that I was going to hit the target because of the range. So, you know, the further you go, the more problems there is. It magnifies all the problems. So, I don't know, you know, they got to live with it if they're lying about the bullshit. I don't really consider Canada an army. They're like National Guard guys that come down from the up north to just pretend like they're in the military. So, but they're, you know, those guys that are actually taking those long range shots in Afghanistan, for the most part, they're going to be, you know, candidate. They're going to be part of the Special Air Service guys. They're going to be fucking, you know, Canadian top tier. But hell, they don't even have an airborne battalion anymore. So, can you really consider anybody in Canada?
Does Canada have
in the military?
Does Canada have airplanes?
Yeah, they got airplanes. Pretty sure they do. They probably still have props on the front of them. And
I thought they just use ours. Like, if we want to go to Canada, we get on a 747, fly to Canada. Canada puts its people on, sends them back to us, but really they're all our airplanes.
Oh yeah, Canada's well. If Canada has airplanes, Canada is flying Canadian F-18s. It's not like Canada has, you know, that
right
F-42 Raptor that they designed.
Does Canada have a navy?
They do have a navy.
Are they just all used for fishing?
I think it's just mostly Coast Guard. You know, you can. The
Well,
problem
I
is,
think they're all net boats, right?
yeah. The problem with the Canadian Navy is
Does Canada have gasoline?
Yeah, they have gasoline, but they don't use it with their navy. It's all about paddle power.
Where do they paddle power?
It's how far you can paddle out in the surf. That's how far the Canadian Navy goes.
Where does Canada get fuel from?
Interesting. Canada
gets all our fuel.
Canada takes their oil. They take their oil and they send it to us, and then we turn it into fuel and give it to Canada. I don't know if any of that's true, but we do use a lot of their oil. Tar sands. You can thank the Koch brothers for that.
It always amazes me. So I'm reading. I'm seeing messages come across here. Damn, bro. No XX 556 shirts. Yeah, fucko. Because we put them out goddamn Monday.
Yeah.
A week ago. I tell you guys, get on MeWe. I put them on MeWe a day ahead of time. Then we showed them on Facebook. I don't think I ever even showed them on Instagram. I mean, fuck. And now you actually try. And that's my boy. Like, he should have fucking known better. We need to educate people to what socialism really is. Skully is the man.
Well, I mean, I'm not the man, but people really need to understand that there's nothing... There will be nothing good that comes of AOC's agenda. The agenda that the Democrats, you know, when you talk about the new Green Deal, it'll be the new fucking Stalin era. You'll lose 100 million people. I mean, it's just it just will happen. You cannot enforce what they want to do without a bullet. It's just not going to be possible. How do you even the things that are in there, even the things that are in her Green New Deal that are
which is actually from 1973.
Which is even the things
word for word.
Even the things that are in there that you're like, you know, that's almost possible. It's not possible. When you're talking about electric cars, when you're talking about electric cars, that electricity is not. We're not getting that electricity from fucking melting snow. We're not getting that electricity from solar panels. We're not getting that electricity from wind farms. Because the reality that nobody wants to talk about is solar panels and wind farms cannot produce the energy that the United States needs to sustain itself. Can't do it.
Look at the fucking disaster that those wind farms are.
Just cannot do it. So, I mean, just to enforce that, I mean, imagine you buy a car right now that costs you $100,000, or costs, you know, I'll just say a Ford F-350 pickup truck that are fucking $74,000.
They're more than that. That's not even your full one.
And next year that car is illegal because AOC has decided it's illegal. Or Bernie Sanders, when Bernie Sanders gets elected president, he decides it's illegal. Do you think the government's going to pay you back for that car?
You think he's going to turn his in?
You know Bernie's not going to turn his in. And it's kind of funny that now AOC is driving around in Chevy Suburban. That's interesting. Whenever you hear...
And there's probably 2 following her.
Whenever you hear politicians talking about new Green Deals, or they're talking about getting rid of cars or whatever, you guarantee they are not walking the walk. They never walk the walk.
It's the elite. And back to Agenda 21, move everybody into the cities, stack and pack houses, work, play, educate, fucking live within 5-minute walk of everything you do. It's that whole fucking deal. Get rid of the cars, move everybody off of the fucking urban, into the urban cities and shit, off the farmland so that they can have the farmland. Like that's what the whole thing is about. It's actually Agenda 51 now is what they call it. I have a 2-hour video that I've been listening to today. Dude was a college professor in Texas. He died in 2017. But his whole thing is like the Trilateral Commission and who all's involved, and how Belgium, the premier of Belgium or whatever, was an SS officer that stood up, and after the war, it's fucking just crazy how intertwined in the families and the names and where they all came from, and the secret societies that they belong to and shit. I'll send it to you. You'll actually find it interesting.
I mean, Leo DiCaprio flew to the UN in a G5 to tell everybody that they needed to fucking cut their greenhouse emissions, and then immediately went to his yacht and partied on his fucking yacht that came all the way from the United States, burning diesel fuel. I mean, they're full of shit.
Yeah, you want to see a gas guzzler.
They are full of shit.
You want to see a gas guzzler. Go look how long it takes to fill up a yacht with fuel, and yeah, what kind of mileage that's getting. The big ones. Go look and see how long that.
When Bernie's driving a fucking,
it's $35,000 to fill up some of those things up. That's the small ones.
When Bernie's fucking riding a bicycle to work and heating his house with fucking, I don't know what would you heat your house with? We can't go.
Wood? It's illegal to burn wood.
We can't go. We can't go back to wood. We can't go back to wood. There are too many people in the United States that would rely on that infrastructure, and within 2 years there wouldn't be a fucking tree left in the country because everybody would be fucking burning all the trees down.
They haven't been able to. It has been illegal, at least in like Southern California. It has been illegal to put a house in that is even capable of burning wood in the last 30 years.
They tried to pass a law. They
tried to pass a law here that you couldn't burn wood.
This is how hippie. This is how crazy. This is how crazy these people are. They tried to pass a law that would make it illegal to burn wood in
campfires.
Alaska. Fucking Alaska.
But that wasn't Alaska doing it.
No, it was fucking hippies.
Yeah, they tried to do it. It happened just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, tried to. So what else are you going to burn? If you're not going to burn wood, that means you have to use a fuel source.
Don't worry. They'll burn all the books.
Yeah.
That was another thing this dude was saying. So you remember when the Germans burnt all the books and shit? They were burning books that were Stalin's books.
Yeah, probably anything that has to do with...
Anything that was anti-German, basically.
Well, I would say that they were definitely burning anything that had the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Love the podcast. Please keep them up. Me and the hubby sit and watches them together after work. Two things I want...
God, how boring that must be watching us on TV.
One, my grandfather, uncles, and cousins all served, and my grandfather drove tanks. I used to love sitting and listening to his stories, and he loved that I wanted to hear them. He was a great man, but very quiet. Although it was cool to drive those tanks, he said with driving them, you had to clean them, and pulling bodies from the tracks really fucked him up, he said. 2, we used to live in Tennessee, and my husband wants to come back. Told him I would go back if I could sew with SOE. Keep them coming, guys. Cool, thanks.
Yeah, tanks are a motherfucker to clean. I did see a really good video yesterday of a German. I don't know what tank they're using now, but it's a German tank, but it's the modern tank. So it's not. I don't think they're using the Leopard anymore, but it's somewhere in Europe, and they have a fucking car.
Two cars. The roadblock. I saw it last night.
Car parked in the road
at full speed,
and that fucking tank goes full speed through those cars. Oh man,
I didn't realize that was German tank.
It fucking destroys those fucking cars. It's pretty awesome to see. So
I thought, I'm like, oh man, he's just gonna kind of pit it. He's gonna hit it right at
nope.
He struck that.
He hit that motherfucker.
That one on our right side of the screen, man. He busted that fucker in half.
He hit that motherfucker like.
Yeah, that's
pretty awesome.
He just kind of like, boop, like didn't even jump. Not even any airtime. Last gas says I could listen to Skully talk about doing his taxes hours on end.
My taxes are... Did I talk about my taxes? That's boring. Come on, guys.
The farm stuff, good. Maybe. And here's the new videos.
Oh, man. We're already in the...
Upgrade to a Puffy mattress. Start sleeping on clouds. Puffy at puffy.com. That's one of our new sponsors.
Please let them know so they'll start sending the check.
Hey, guys, make sure you go on Andy Frisella's, the MFCEO podcast. They're throwing us some love and sponsoring us a little bit through First Form. So comment on their shit. Tell them you are there because of SOE. Tell them that they need to come on our podcast, not us on their podcast.
Yeah.
And just say thanks. Go to buy some OptiGreens. I use them every morning. I use them fucking all the time, every morning, even when I'm not here. When I'm out traveling and shit, I take a thing of OptiGreens with me. I like them. I use them. So tell them we sent you and tell them thanks for hooking us up. And I bought them I've been using them for like 2 years. I was not getting hooked up for the last 2 years. Every time I'm in an auto parts store, I pull a Ron Swanson.
Oh, Ron Swanson.
Who is Ron Swanson?
Ron Swanson is the man's man.
Who is he?
He's the man's man. He's just the man's man.
Where would I see him?
Well, he's all over the internet, but the show that Ron Swanson is from is Parks and Rec.
Oh, he's that fucking goofy dude, always like dressed as though he's in the 70s and shit.
The one that doesn't He's the man's man. Have you seen the best one? Is he's in Whole Foods. I love this one. He's in Whole Foods, and he's with this girl, and they're walking around Whole Foods, and there's the guy, you know, dressed up with the thing and the gloves and his shit, and he's like, "Hey, would you like to try our delicious turkey bacon?" And Ron walks up and he's like, "Yes, I would love to try a piece of your turkey bacon." And the guy hands him the bacon, and he leans over and he drops it in the trash, and he's like, "May I try another?"
Oh, shit.
He's the one that does, you probably heard Chef say it, where he's like, "I want all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait, stop. I think what you think you heard was, I want a lot of bacon and eggs. But what I really said is, I want all the bacon and eggs you have." He's good.
Every time I'm in an auto parts store, I pull a Ron Swanson. When I walk up, I just tell them, "I know more than you."
That's true. You got to do that. He does that. He's in Home Depot because the actor, the guy who plays Ron Swanson, is actually a I don't know what you would call it. Not like, maybe a master carpenter, but he's done, like, he takes a tree trunk and turns it into something. Like, if you wanted to, he's done that a long time. He still does it because it's one of those things that it focuses him and stuff like that. And that has been that was incorporated in his character. So there'll be scenes where he's in, like, Home Depot, and the dude will come up with the vest and be like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And he's like, "I know more than you," and keeps on going. Shit's just funny.
John, love the podcast. I listen while on patrol. When I contact someone and they tell me they have a gun, I thank them, and my standard response is, "If you don't show me yours, I won't show you mine." Man, I've heard so many cops we know they say the same thing, man. They say exactly that. I get a smile from most people and a laugh. This helps relieve some of the anxiety on both ends of the interaction. And when they tell me they have a permit, but I don't have a gun, I ask why not. I've had dudes tell us that too. We've had people say that same thing, man. The other side of it. And when they tell me when they tell me they have a permit, but don't have a gun, I ask why not. Keep up the videos. Reference podcast 61. Side note, I've been following SOE and James since I can remember. Love all the videos you guys have done, and appreciate you taking the time to make them. Austin, man, thanks for fucking listening and watching.
And you be careful out there. It's a dangerous crackhead world.
Fucking zombies. I was just thinking earlier about something. That's all he said. That's the whole thing. I was just thinking earlier about something. There's no more words.
That's
no,
it.
There is.
Free to me.
I was just thinking earlier about something, and was wondering both yours and Scully's thoughts. What are your thoughts? Don't wear red shirts.
Yeah, don't wear red shirts.
Pennsylvania just put a bill for complete firearms registration. If a country has free citizens with rights, at what point do the citizens in theory say enough is enough and do what they don't want to do to stop what's happening? Is it even possible for the country to reverse all the infringements and illegal laws and go back to how it was meant to be? Great video. Thanks, guys. You've become a regular part of my schedule 5 days a week. I watch reruns the 6th and 7th. As far as the reruns, you got to remember, dude, we've got 8 years of video. Like, when I say we have 1,000 videos, we have way over a fucking 1,000 videos now. Like, go back and watch some of that. There's some fucking... It pops up every now and then. Somebody will comment on one of them. So I'll go to look, and I'm like, holy shit, I don't even remember making this video. And there's some good shit in some of them. Go.
Oh, so remember that it's divide and conquer. And your politicians... Your politicians
keep us busy fighting amongst us.
Your politicians are hoping that you will stay home. Organize a group. Go down to those meetings and make yourself known. Let them know how you feel about whether it's registration of guns, confiscations of guns. Get as many people as you can down there and do that. The reason why you have to do that is it's kind of like, think about the Democratic Party. What's going on in the Democratic Party right now? They are catering to the lunatic left. The reality is, in the Democratic Party, the lunatic left is the smallest portion of the Democratic Party. We think it's bigger than it really is. For example, You hear about 3 fucking freshmen, 3 congressional freshmen in the Democratic Party. Do you know how many congressional freshmen there were? 56. But we continue to hear about the same 3. Why? Because they're the fucking most radical 3 in the Democratic Party. The Democrats, unfortunately, are moving in that direction. Why? Because squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's those people that are the most vocal are going to be the ones that are going to get their day in court. So you need to get your ass out, get as many of your friends together,
and hang them.
And go on down there and let them know. If that means fucking pitchforks and torches, you need to go down there and let them know how it really is. Because
which one would you like to see hung most?
Who hung?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the one in costume, man. You're gonna be a member of the fucking U.S. Congress. You need to dress like a fucking U.S.
I think we need to just run them out of town. Send them all down to Venezuela. Everybody that is a social democrat needs to move to Venezuela.
No, I say we send them to Tijuana.
They would come over they would hop over. They wouldn't stay.
They'd kill them.
So that's the big thing. They count on you staying home and not voicing your opinion. You need to go out there and you need to get in their face and you need to let them know what America really means. Because as long as you stay home, they'll pass that law. They're going to pass it.
And they're going to pass it anyways. They're going to put it in the bottom of a fucking medical bill.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You need to go out and make sure they know who's in charge.
Hello there from Venezuela. We do have power right now. And I haven't missed a podcast yet.
Hot pockets.
Even White with the blackout. Laugh out loud. Notice you guys said the posts are a little slow. So doing a little bit to help. Question about the store. Is there like a SOE gift box option I could buy? Something like I could pick a particular size for a belt and clothing and what they do like police or someone at a particular branch of military to send it to them. We don't have anything like that, man. I would rather see you spend your money if you're wanting to gift somebody something, spend your money and give it to somebody you know, man. Give it to somebody that will affect their life that you can see. That's nice you guys wanting to do that. It creates more work for us. And then you're reliant, you don't have any proof of that we did it. I would rather see you spend your money someplace, where you can see what happens to it. Something like that. Or something like that would be better as a custom order without ETA. I think Ben Thomas shared the first time he bought gear of you on some old videos. He was told to pay X number, shut up, and pick up all the gears.
Yeah, that has been.
He needed for the seals. So, would be something like that, swag and logos. Pizza oven. A cool use for pizza oven is a sourdough bread. Cooking food. They work with wood, and you keep it running your whole day, so if the power goes out, it still works. It was amazing in my case when the power went out for 4 days, and you can help people near you as well. People without generators need to cook most of their frozen food by the 3rd day. Fun podcast. Dude, thanks for listening, man. I hope shit gets better down there. So, being that you're in Venezuela, I'm assuming you don't know what we're seeing on the news, but what we're seeing is that it's total panic. It's a collapse. There's mobs in the street. Everybody's being drugged from the houses. We're burning everything down and it's total chaos. Is it really like that? Or is that just little pockets that we're seeing? Like when in California they were, fucking petitioning for $20 an hour minimum wage, like at McDonald's, right? So they show you these McDonald's, in California, and there's mobs of people and everybody's just picketing and fucking keeping people from going into McDonald's, and it's a huge mess, and McDonald's can't do business because everybody wants this $20 an hour. And they showed that for a few days, and then somebody had some video from another angle, and the drive-thru was open, and there was fences here, and they had people there that were all totally contained, and while they said it was thousands of people, it was actually 30 or 40 people, and it was not how they used a real narrow lens,
so
and you see all this chaos, and when you see the wide lens, that fucking restaurant was 100% open for business. They hired actors to go do that shit. So is it really what they're showing us is what I'm asking you. Are you okay down there? How's your family? Is it really as bad as they're saying it is?
In 1934, the United States passed a law that said you cannot use propaganda on American citizens. President Obama signed a bill that canceled that law. It's the reason why you have news outlets. You have news outlets now that are telling you things that are not true, because it is now legal to use propaganda in the United States to push an agenda.
And if you look at all your breaking story, it's all fucking sports and bullshit. There's no news in it. Like I'm at the gym every morning, CNN's on. It's the same headline for the fucking entire 90 minutes I'm in the gym. It doesn't even, and what happened to the people on CNN? Do they don't have grooming standards anymore? Because it's fat bitches, like fat bitches, and people that look like they literally just got out of bed. They're all disheveled and stuff. Like, what the fuck happened to CNN?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens to Fox.
Why?
Because Disney.
CNN bought them?
Disney just bought them.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah, Disney just bought them. So
who owns them? It was Disney and somebody else, and they own CNN too now.
Yeah, Disney owns them. So it'll be interesting to see how the reporting changes on those mediums.
Think people are done with them, man. I think they're in their death throes. They just don't know it.
I don't know. It just depends on who's president. Because like right now, Rachel Maddow is the #1 show on #1 TV cable news show.
Is she hot?
In the nation. No, she's not. And I would say it's because Trump's president, whereas Fox News was the #1 rated show while Obama was president. I think if you just feel like your ship is sinking, you cling to the thing that you want to cling to.
My history teacher used to say that if the United States sneezed, the rest of the world would get a cold.
That's 100% true. That nobody seems to understand that. Nobody, all these, Bernie and all them, they just don't understand that. And even people who talk about a collapse here in the United States, you are talking about World War III, no matter what. If the United States, let's just say the dollar tanked, and we were all throwing dollars out our window because they weren't worth anything, World War III would immediately break out. It would immediately break out. Every single country that wanted to do something but is not doing anything because the United States is out there patrolling, they're going to immediately do what they want to do. Russia's going to take every fucking one of their all their satellite former countries back over. They're going to fucking immediately do that. North Korea will probably immediately attack South Korea. I mean, it will be...
Really, though, what do we give a shit if any of that happened?
Well, I mean, the reality is
bring our shit home, fucking...
The reality is, here's the thing that... It's the same thing about...
I know.
It's the same thing about, like, politicians,
Empire.
Right? As long as all these people are fighting over this shit over here, nobody's looking at us going, that's some really nice beachfront property you got there.
When it changed from War Department to Department of Defense, we had 10 times more wars. We weren't defending anything.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, Eisenhower was the one that said the biggest thing to fear in the United States is the industrial military machine.
Yeah.
Because, whether you like it or not, our economy, your livelihood is all based off of how much money we spend in defense.
What are you gonna name your tractor?
I don't know.
Tractor.
I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I gotta go look at it.
You don't know? I'm getting a skeleton.
Everybody's poo-pooing me.
Who?
Everybody. You're like, you should get a skid steer instead. Gina's like, you should just get a Kubota tractor instead. It'll have a warranty and you won't have to work on it. And it'll be good. Everybody's poo-pooing my dreams, man. Just poo-pooing my dreams. I know it's going to be a novelty tractor, but it's like having the opportunity to buy an Abrams.
When you said Unimog, I didn't think Unimog tractor thing. I didn't think that. When you said Unimog, I immediately thought, if this motherfucker gets a Unimog, I'm going to go get one too, and then we can drive them places. How fucking cool would that be? We'll take them in and we'll have fucking Rap Lab wrap them up. Those would be cool. Some Unimog or an LMTV.
LMTV, yeah.
Well, that LMTV was only 18 grand.
I'm now in the. I will be in the.
That one was nice too.
Yeah. In the need for an LMTV dump truck.
So we were talking about that the other day. The problem with the those military dump trucks, we don't have any fucking equipment that's that height. Like, we literally don't have anything that we could load it with. Yeah. You can't even throw shit in that dump truck with a shovel. Yeah. The kids couldn't even, like, throw tree branches in that motherfucker.
Yeah, that is the problem with military trucks.
So are you thinking skid steer then?
No, I would get
why?
An enclosed, because a skid steer, the problem with a skid steer is,
dude, it outperforms. It does everything.
Yeah, but the problem with a skid steer is it does everything better at twice the cost. Yeah, and I don't need that. I don't need that. I mean, for example,
we have that John Deere because it was affordable. It came with it. It was on it. Like, I literally we drove up. It was on a trailer, had a brush hog attached, had a front bucket, and then when I got it, like the first 20 times I used it, especially like scraping out in the goat pen and shit, right? So me and Amanda are out there. Nobody's here. Me and Amanda, and I'm trying to scrape up goat shit, right? And I mean, we have fucking piles of goat shit, right?
Oh yeah.
I couldn't get that bucket to do shit. Like, I'd like, and then turn it up a little while I'm going, and I'd get like a little. I literally got off the tractor, and me and Amanda loaded the front bucket of the tractor up 20 times with shovels.
Yeah, with shovels. Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't. What you get in a skid steer, man.
Yeah.
And the skid steer, you can put a forestry mulcher on the front. We can literally drive into a forest.
I get all that.
Chew trees down and make a wood chip path.
I get all that, but here's
here's
the difference. I can get a 50-horse tractor with with a brush hog, with a fucking bucket on the front of it, and another implement for $35,000 from fucking Kubota.
What's that? Put your payment. What's your money?
Oh, I don't know. But if I get the skid steer, you get a $75,000 skid steer, and you still got to buy all those fucking attachments to do all the stuff. And the problem with hydraulic attachments, what the skid steer uses instead of PTO, is they're fucking expensive, man.
Yeah.
They're fucking expensive.
So we go to auctions, because once you have a tractor, once you have a piece of equipment, that's a license to print money. Like, it really is fucking
a license if you have the right people money. Using it, yeah.
So, I mean, Diesel Brothers started just by buying, they were literally putting in like slabs and blocks and shit, and this lady wanted this block wall knocked down or something, so they rented a piece of equipment. Ended up going to an auction, getting a piece of equipment that they couldn't even afford to pay for, so they had to just keep doing jobs to do it. And before you know it, I mean, fucking, they're huge. Like, the Diesel Brothers have really done some super cool shit. People know about them because of the TV show, but that's not really what they're about. Like, they are doing fucking big things, like way bigger than Andy and those guys. So it's pretty cool. So the N95 Kubota, the big one, your payments on it are $1,000 a month.
Yeah. And what you were doing, that's what you should have done.
We could have bought it for.
I guarantee you that rental place bought that new one with your payments.
So the question is, because Kubota doesn't do leases and shit, from what Jack was saying.
Yeah.
Where do those used Kubotas go? So if I have that thing for 2-3 years traded in, where are they sitting at? Because Jack said I don't recall really seeing too much used equipment. Where are they going?
I don't know. That's kind of an interesting question, because the last time I was over at Kubota talking to the guy about the tractors, there was a guy in there turning in a tractor to get a newer model, and the Kubota guy was like,
"Where at?"
Dixon.
Okay, that's a pretty good size one. Because the one in Paris is fucking useless, man.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's this is how much you're gonna get for it." And the guy was like, because initially the guy came in and said, "Well, I'm gonna sell my other one." He goes, "I'm gonna sell my other one, and then I'll come and buy it." And he's like,
Jack was saying, like, they have 0% financing.
Yeah, he's like, "What's your trade?" He's like, "What tractor is it?" And he's like, "Oh man, we're going to give you this much." He's like, "We're going to give you this much for it. That our tractors hold more value than any other tractor. We're going to give you this much for it." And then when he told him how much they were going to give him for it, he was like, "Oh, well then fuck it. I'm not even going to sell it. I'll just trade it in and get the next model." So
what you always heard about Toyota too, till you go to try to trade a 6-month one in.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, motherfucker, I bought a Toyota because of all this trade value shit I heard, fucking how they hold their value, and here I am. And what you got on this paper here, I'm going to get a Dodge." But in the end, they did what I needed done. Auctions. So the auctions have kind of always been a mystery because you have to have you got to show up with money. Well, you don't. You don't. You go to your fucking bank and you get a fucking, hey, issue me a line of fucking credit for $100,000. You go to the auction and you just have they just run it through your bank. You don't actually have to pay cash. You just have to have it set up ahead of time. Have a line, show a
line of credit.
Yeah, line of intent or something from the bank. But we need to go to some of these auctions and start doing that. Because they're out there, man. Eli, when I was looking at stuff, Eli's good at that shit. Eli's good at spending your money. Eli can, you tell Eli you're looking for something, you will be inundated with whatever it is. And he knows right where it is too, man.
Yeah, I would love to go to some of those auctions just to see what's out there.
Even the U.S. Gov stuff, like the task force, they're selling cars up here for $1,000. If you took a car for $1,000, we could rent it to the employees when they need a fucking car.
I look at Gov Deals. So I look at
somebody was telling me that at Gov Deals they have 5-gallon buckets of pistols for sale.
You can get they don't have them in buckets, but it's like, so they do firearms, and it's only southern states really that are selling guns. But they do firearms, and they'll have a lot, and it'll be the funny thing is, it's not funny, but they're pretty slick about the lots. So there'll be like a
real gun, and
a SIG 226, a SIG 226, and then there'll be 15 guns that you can't throw away. I mean, it's just the way they do it. But yeah, they do guns. I always look at anything within 100 miles, and
how come we're not bidding on some of that shit? Not the guns, but I mean, there's got to be a lot of other shit on there, equipment and stuff.
Yeah, you name it.
So you guys, if you don't know, a police agency can go to Dermo, and basically they get this shit for free, right? They've got Camden has Humvees sitting over there, and LMTVs and MRAPs and all kinds of shit. It has to stay on their books for 2 years, I believe, and has to be used in some capacity by the city or whatever. But after that, they can auction that shit off. Yeah, they can
auction it off. It goes on Gov Deals, and then the reality is that the stuff goes for real cheap. The issue is you have to have, you need to be knowledgeable about what you're getting. For example, I'll just use like Dodge Chargers. I can go on Gov Deals right now, and within 100 miles of Camden, Tennessee, there's probably 80 Dodge Chargers, 80 police car Dodge Chargers that are for sale, that are being auctioned. Normally they'll go for about $3,000. The issue that you're gonna run into, and this is why I only do 100 miles, because some people will fucking bid on shit in other states, is you really need to go look at it, because most of the time when there's, especially if it's an automobile, especially if it's a vehicle, it gets taken out of service, and so that vehicle gets taken out of service and it gets slid into the backyard
where the tires dry rot,
and where it's just sitting there,
fucking fluids.
It's just sitting there waiting for that time to go.
Crackhead Steve gnawed a hole through the seat.
Yeah, it just sits there waiting for that time to go on auction. So, can you get turnkey vehicles? Yeah, you can, but it's really within your interest to go look at these vehicles before you.
Luckily.
And all of them will let you look at them.
Luckily, we have a vehicle guy and a military vehicle guy.
What we really need, if it was something you were thinking about, what we really need is, we just need a truck, which we have, the Dodge could do it, and a good flatbed trailer that we could fucking hoist vehicles on that if they didn't start. Because a lot of times it's just batteries.
I had a big ass trailer.
I had a really good friend out in San Diego who was going to all the military auctions up in Yermo, and he was buying 5 tons, and he had no idea what he was going to do with these 5 tons. But he was it was the guy that owns the gun store that was there in the thing, and he was buying 5 tons with no idea what he was going to do with 5 tons. He was just addicted to buying these 5 tons. And, the first one he bought, he went up there, got in it, fired it up, actually drove the 5-ton home. The next one he bought, the batteries were fucking shot. so they had to put batteries in it. And the problem is, when you get that stuff, when you even Gov Deals, they'll be like, that shit, as soon as that fucking sale is over, they want that shit out of the lot. They want it gone. So, you know, you gotta be prepared to, if that 5-ton is not running and you can't figure out how to get it started, you gotta be prepared to fucking yank that thing on a trailer and get it off the property. There are some good deals. You can find some crazy shit on there, like fucking, I was looking the other day, they were selling a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
Like a real bridge. I'm like, how do you sell a bridge? There's cool shit on there.
Fuck, we could just buy a piece of equipment one by one, just rent it ourselves out.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the guys doing it. They started with a couple, now they've got fucking 20 things over there.
I mean, you know, stuff like that. It's out of my price range because the Gov Deal is a completely cash market, but they've got D9 dozers that they're selling for $30,000.
When you say cash, it's not cash though. You just have to have a line of credit.
Like, yeah, however they pay. You know, on the thing it says you gotta certify and all that bullshit. So
they just need a line of credit from your bank. That's all they need. All right,
we're fucking deep into it again.
Yeah, hour 40 it looks like, and we haven't even touched half of these. So, in case like today, like the ones we printed out today, were only like fucking 30 comments or something. So we'll save these ones.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, bright and early.